The Booze Hounds return. How about a nice, greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?
All right, dickhead.
Hello and welcome to our show that came after a lot of birthday celebrations this week. Not only in the world of wrestling, but within this show. It is the show that asks the question, how would you like a nice greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray? Welcome to the Grumpy Old Man Wrestling Podcast here on RGC Multimedia. Rick Crab with
the birthday boy.
The drunken sidekick. The drunken master. I don't want to say what he's master of, but you know.
I'm the master of none.
Masturbator, man.
Hey, masturbator, yeah.
Alright. Chris Villito. And before we proceed any further, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Eric Perfect. He's the drummer of our opening theme. When, at the time, they were the Workhorse 3. Now they've renamed themselves Lisa Christ Superstar. Anyway, he's also a talented tattoo artist who actually did some ECW commemorative artwork to raise money for New Jack's widow and their family. And as a present to Chris, I will show it right here. I bought this print for him and framed it for him, and the proceeds went to New Jack's family. And what I was told, Chris, Eric said that Tommy Dreamer got involved, and for everybody who bought either prints as I got you or tattoos of that artwork, Tommy Dreamer matched whatever money was raised.
Tommy Dreamer is a stand-up guy for one stand. Yeah, I've heard he's really good with the workers.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? There's so much.
Oh yeah, there is definitely.
Well, we got to offer congratulations.
Well, that's where I was alluding to with the birthdays. We have a future mixed tag match in the works, I suppose. Maybe 6-person tag, I guess. Congratulations to Cody and Brandy Rhodes for their new child, as well as
Liberty Iris is her name.
As well as Renee Young and John Moxley for their
Eleanor, baby Eleanor. So
all pediatric wrestling. There you go.
They'll be crashing through tables soon.
But maybe.
But where do you want to start with what we saw, what I saw, or what you saw?
Well, we'll get this out of the way. It's like you're like anybody. I mean, it's like you have to get it out of your system. You know, and someone's like taking a shit. Sometimes literally. Okay, but actually, there was some good stuff that happened with Impact this week. Wanted to get into that.
I did watch Against All Odds. Did you hear about where they filmed the main event?
No.
It was at Daly's place.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's right, because I actually saw a match that was okay, yeah, that makes
Daly's place before I think they really let the crowds in, because you saw just the students and the.
It was kind of like the dark match before Dynamite. Okay,
It was really a dark match. There's hardly any lights on at all.
Isn't that where they had the title match between Omega and Moose? Okay, yeah.
Really, really good match. Moose Moose just resigned, and I don't know why, because he could do better things somewhere else.
Well,
because he's the biggest guy. He's the big fish there. Literally.
He's probably using it as an audition tape. So you know.
So it started with the Good Brothers versus Dreamer and Callahan in a street fight.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't care. I love Dreamer, like I said, I love Sami Callihan, the wrestler, and Sammy Johnson, the man. Even though, another congratulations, him and Jessica Havoc just became engaged.
Oh, good for them. But I'm kind of surprised at that, because on paper, that sounds like it would be a good wild brawl.
It was a wild brawl, toys were involved, yada, yada, yada.
Although I know you don't like Gallows and Anderson. So at least
I like Anderson, I just don't. I'm not sold on Gallows. I never was when he was Jesse, when he was a Straight Edge Society, when he was in Aces and Eights. I mean, I didn't care for him.
What about Bullet Club?
Bullet Club too. I mean, he's just a big guy.
Oh, okay.
Next was Kojima versus Joe Doring, and Joe Doring, I never knew about him until he came here. He's a former Triple Crown champion in All Japan.
Okay.
And Kojima is a former IWGP champion. They know each other. Good match. I mean, it was a good match. Doring won with underhanded tactics because Eric Young was there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had, okay, this one completely confused me because what are the rules of a 5-way? There are no rules. There's no count out. No disqualifications, right?
And use as much protection as possible.
Yeah. We had,
that's a different kind of fight.
This is the number one contender to the X Division title. We had Ace Austin versus Chris Bay versus Rohit Raju versus Petey Williams versus Trey Miguel. It was thrown out because Madman Fulton destroyed everybody. And he's with Ace Austin.
And this was like on a pay-per-view?
This was like a streaming special things. Not a
special event. So it's an event that they don't have to show picture-in-picture, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we had Rich Swann versus the man who used to be Big Cass. W. Morrissey. And Morrissey just mauled him.
Okay.
And again, we got another big hoss here. I would like to see him against Moose.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him in AEW, like basically stomp on people like all over his travels. But anyway.
Okay. Then we had Tennille Dashwood versus Jordan Grace. We're seeing the slow heel turn of Jordan Grace because she's losing matches. The reason she lost this because Rachel Ellering was at ringside and she kept on telling Rachel, "Getting back, I can do this myself," and she got rolled up for a pin. Then they started with the bullshit again. We had another Brian Myers segment about how to be a professional wrestler, how to be a professional.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Then we had the Knockouts Tag Title match with Fire and Flavor against Kimberly and Susan, which Fire and Flavor kept. And I'll get to the Impact report after that. What Deanna Perozzo turned on both of them.
Okay.
Okay. Then we had Violent by Design versus Decay. Violent by Design, it was Rhino and Cody Deaner. And they kept that belts. Then we had Deanna Perozzo making Rosemary tap out to the double arm bar.
Huh.
And then also a power driver.
Ouch.
Yeah. Nova Strosha, she calls her power driver. It's a package power driver.
Okay.
She does the Kevin Owens package power driver. Then we had the world title match. Moose versus Kenny Omega. As I said, Sammy was in Nashville, right?
Right.
After Omega beats Moose, the lights go out.
And
then
you
see the ICU thing, then lights come back on, it's Sammy there in the ring. So they're doing like he's teleported? I don't know what the fuck.
Matt Hardy taught him well.
Yeah. Here's the beauty part. He was getting ready to do what he accidentally did to Eddie Edwards to Kenny.
Okay.
Remember the whole eye thing?
Yeah.
Callis got on mic and says, "I'm still executive president," because the color commentators were Callis, Schiavone, and Scott D'Amore.
Right.
D'Amore was in Florida. He fired Sami Callihan. D'Amore and Callis walk up the rampway just arguing, fighting with each other the entire time. And even you hear Callahan say on the streaming special, "This is bullshit."
Yeah.
This leads into last Thursday night.
Well, I want to say one thing about Callahan, though. I think he is trying to make the teleportation thing and the hacker thing into his character. I mean, he's been doing the hacker thing for a while, but before the pandemic, he was supposed to do an indie gig with What Culture Wrestling Simon Miller.
Yeah, you do.
And actually, there's a few episodes of Ups and Downs when Callahan actually pretended to hack into it, and then he actually appeared and he changed all of Simon Miller's ups and the downs. Or,
Oh, yeah, remember that, yeah.
So that was kind of like before the pandemic. So
this leads into Thursday night's Impact, which D'Amore had to calm Moose down because Moose was going ape shit. And said, D'Amore kept on saying, I'm going to fix it. Somebody from Anthem is going to be here.
Right.
I was saying, we're going to have an authority type Anthem figure coming.
The network's not happy.
And then we had TJP versus Black Taurus, which was a fucking great match.
Okay.
Perkins outside the ring's an asshole. I've heard a lot of different stories about him. And then you have Black Taurus from AAA. Black Taurus, if you've never seen this guy, have you seen this guy yet?
Yeah, I've seen him a few times.
He wrestles in a full head, bullhead with horns. That's not a simple mask.
If he would have wrestled 40 years ago, he'd be on a Slits Mall Liquor commercial, yeah.
He's like, what was that Taurus character that Vince had in the 80s? Or 90s? Didn't he have something like that? Mantar.
Mantar, yeah.
Mantar, yeah. Then Moose attacks TJP. And like I said, he's going on a rampage. Then, guess who saves TJP? The return of Chris Sabin. So, and Chris Sabin's challenged at Slammiversary Moose.
Wow.
Sabin's a former world champion. But how much does he weigh compared to Moose? And how big is he compared to Moose?
At least a half a moose.
Yeah, half a moose. Then we get Madman Fulton versus Josh Alexander, which Alexander beat him. Again, you beat a big hoss with an X Division guy. We had the Anna turning on Kimberly and Susan. During this Madman Fulton, Josh Alexander, he had a clusterfuck run-ins with all the X Division coming in. Coming after, trying to prove who's the number one contender, you know?
Right.
Then we have the debut of Steve Macklin, who you knew as Steve Cutler from the Forgotten Sons.
Okay.
He took on a jobber named Jason Pace. They're basically calling him Mr. Mayhem. And I think he's doing the whole I'm a vet gimmick thing.
Okay.
Then we had a Grayson Ellering segment again. Ellering, you're starting to see the frustration in Grace. You're starting to see the heel turn in Grace. How do you think our Grace heel turn would be? I think I asked you this before.
Well, I mean,
she is a little mama pump.
Well, I mean, sometimes you need to do that to change pace. I mean, whether
to jumpstart your career again,
right?
Because she is just spinning her wheels.
Fresh coat of paint, basically.
Yeah.
Give her new people to fight.
And I think because of her size, she can be the killer that she is. Then we had Tenille Dashwood versus Rachel Ellering. Again, Grace wasn't the outside. Tenille Dashwood scored another W. Then we had Decay, TJP, and Fala. Looks like they're going to have a tag match at Slammiversary with Falaba, TJP, and Decay. Which is now Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. And this is the segment I told you about off air. Fire Flavor did a promo in backstage area. All of a sudden saying they're the greatest tag team in the world. They're going after anybody, like street sweepers or anybody who's working in the back, like janitorial, saying who's the greatest knockhouse tag team in the world. Out comes Rosemary out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, as they're backing up, they're backing into Jessica Hammock. They throw Tasha Steelz against the wall, and they threw Kiera Hogan in a dumpster. When they leave, they're going, what's that? What's that in the dumpster? They pull it out. It's a trash bag with the name Mickey on it. Yeah.
She knows that ties to Impact as well as to Inland.
Yeah, then we had Rhino versus Kojima. If Kojima won, him and Eddie Edwards at Slammiversary would get a tag title match. Kojima won. It's going to be Violent by Design against Kojima and Eddie Edwards. Okay. Which I see Violent by Design going winning.
Right.
Then the closing segment, the main event segment was Don Callis. Callahan was just in the ring, just swinging chairs and shit, saying this is all bullcrap. Security's trying to get him out of there. And Scott comes in and just chases Sammy off and says, I'm taking care of everything. Go. As soon as Sammy disappears with the whole fucking cell phone thing, here comes Don Callis. Don Callis says, him and D'Amore get into it. And Callis says, the wrestlers. You care about the wrestlers. The wrestlers are nothing. They're insects. The whole thing about the whole insects thing. Right. Callis is a master of words right now. And I know you probably disagree.
No, Callis is one of the few things I like about the Elite, and probably about, well, I don't want to say about just about Impact, but I'm a fan of Callis.
He's doing his duties. You know, he's got to be every year because he's there as Kenny's guy.
And I wish he wasn't managing the Young Bucks because I love that T-shirt he wore to, about the...
Yeah. That's the knee slapping, yeah.
That was awesome. But
yeah, but then, as they're going on, out comes Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer, Demore kept on saying, well, the representative of Anthem's here. The representative of Anthem's going to be... He says, and Tommy Dreamer says, well, I'm that representative of Anthem. He says he went to Anthem and talked to them about what's going on, about preferential treatment. Says, and yeah, they agree. Somebody has to be fired. And the way they're playing it up, they thought Demore's going to be fired. No, and Dreamer says, no, Callis, you're fired.
You're fired.
And it says, when they were marching them back, and even Dreamer says, there's a trash bag in the back for you.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's the second
trash bag references.
2 trash bag references in one episode. And I thought that was kind of sneaky and kind of cool.
Yeah, it was, but you know what? I mean... You can only do so much of that. That's one of the biggest issues I've had with Cody and AEW, and really, in this company. Mm-hmm. If you're going to concentrate on your shit, to make yourself better. You don't have to bash the other competition for an angle or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the very first AEW pay-per-view was Cody Doogie takes a hammer.
Hammer,
the Hunter's Throne, which is the Hunter's weapon of choice, and the throne, okay. Yeah. They don't have to keep doing that shit, but...
Well, remember the whole Bucks versus SCU, I'm sorry and I love you.
Well, what about the tag match between Moxley and Foot Fetish,
Oh, yeah.
They did this, or was it another match after that? Is when they were making fun of the Shield with the Roman.
Oh yeah. Was that double or nothing?
It was either a double or nothing.
It was a double or nothing. That's
when
Moxley ate those eight BET triggers.
Yeah.
Then the next night was Takeover. I was very underwhelmed with Takeover, and I'm high on the NXT bandwagon.
I'm surprised you said that because I didn't get to watch Takeover, but I saw the highlights. I'm thinking, well, damn, NXT's starting to get good again.
Well, you had that 6-man where winner take all, the North American tag titles. You had MSK and Bronson Reed versus Legado del Fantasma. Good match. Good match. I mean, it was a good match. It was Santos Escobar's really good ever since he took the mask off and became a heel.
Yeah.
He's still chasing after Bronson Reed. He still wants the North American title. Then we had something that was what I write underneath it.
Spooky bullshit.
Yeah, we had Mercedes Martinez, which me and you have seen her go through the Indies.
Yeah.
This woman has driven the road for 20 plus years. What they did to her was I didn't like. She put Xia Li over, which is the veteran move to put the younger talent over.
Right.
But she went up to whatever the fucking character is up on the chair. Mm-hmm. And he gave her the tongue and death grip and threw her against the fucking fence. It's spooky bullshit.
Yeah.
It's spooky bullshit. It sounds very familiar to what else we're seeing on the roster.
Well, I remember in Impact they did weird shit with her too. They did a thing where she somehow injured her face and she had to wear like a mask for.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just lazy booking. No.
Well, we'll talk about that later. The match of the night, there were two. Well, actually, the last 3 matches were pretty good. Were LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes in the $1 Million Ladder match.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Hagerstown. Oh, how do they pronounce it now? Hagerstown.
Yeah.
Hagerstown owned.
Well,
LA Knight.
Well, have you ever been to Hagerstown? That might be an apt pronunciation, actually. But anyway.
LA Knight, Eli Drake, wherever you want to fucking call him, is now the new $1 million champion. And we'll get to regular NXT about that, what he did to DiBiase.
Oh, whoa, okay, I do want to hear that. But I was going to say, if you're going to have the $1 million champion, you got to pair him with DiBiase. But, I mean,
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there will probably be some aftermath of this because NXT's probably on right now. But anyway.
Raquel Gonzalez defended her title against Ember Moon. Again, a good match. I don't know why. And Shotzi Blackheart did show up to chase off Dakota Kai.
Right.
It was a one-on-one match, but it's proven Raquel is just dominant right now. They're booking her as a monster.
But they're also doing
booking
something
that
the what WWE main roster does.
They're booking her into her corner?
Not just that. They don't give a fuck about tag teams. Or at least NXT seems to give more about it. But right now they're falling into that trope. Instead of having the tag teams actually go champions defend their titles or wrestle in tag team matches, they have to have them in bullshit single matches. And that, well, we'll get into that later. But
Then we had Karrion Kross defend against Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano. Holy shit.
yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. Where you had Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly both put submission moves on, I think, Adam Cole.
Oh.
And we had a little Undisputed Era reunion where they double powerbomb, I think, Karrion Kross through the table.
Wow.
Yeah. Or no, it was Pete Dunne. I think it was Pete Dunne, yeah. And Pete Dunne needs a mouthpiece. He can't fucking talk. He's so blah in his speaking.
He kind of reminds me of, like, in English, Dean Malenko.
We'll get to that in a little bit, too.
Okay.
But yeah, because of what happened to AEW.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying as far as their styles and all of that. So he's a technical guy, but he's boring on the mic or...
He's very boring on the mic. I mean, he's a British guy, but he's just so laid back and boring.
Yeah.
And I love him in the ring. I love him in the ring. He's like, he reminds you of Marty Scurll. Yeah.
Well, no, I would disagree. I mean, maybe as far as ring-wise, maybe Marty Scurll, but no, Scurll is a much better promo. And
he's charismatic as hell.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get to the regular NXT, and do you want to talk about what I write?
Yep, and part of that involves Mr. Cole that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Cue the fake Godzilla music.
Yep, because
you left out. Okay, you left out what led to this, though.
Okay, at the end of Takeover, you had Regal, who looks like he's been crying all night, say, it's total mayhem, he's lost all control, there's going to be a change. When he did this spectacular promo on Tuesday night's NXT, where we thought he was going to retire. We thought he was going to just step away as general manager. Here comes Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross got into Regal's face. It just basically ripped him A to Z.
Yeah.
Then here comes Samoa Joe. So, the pop from the crowd that was there was phenomenal. He's back where he belongs in that brand, not the main roster.
Right.
Now, he's not technically cleared because of the concussion issues, but even Regal said he's now a special enforcer. He's like an assistant to Regal.
He's like how Steve Austin was when he was like that special sheriff going around the four.
And he can't touch anybody unless provoked.
Exactly. So it's the same thing. Yeah.
Not physically provoked, just provoked.
All right.
That's what I hear. Then we had, and I know I'm not a big fan of Breezango. I never was.
Neither am I.
Against Imperium. And Imperium.
That I would be a fan of. I'd love to see Imperium beat the Imperium out of Breezango.
Well, the Breezango won.
Ugh.
I don't. I was never a fan of Tyler Breeze. I was never a fan of Fandango. I don't know why Jericho agreed to put him over at WrestleMania.
They had a following for a while, though.
They still do down there in NXT land, the NXT universe.
Advancing with the Stars gimmick. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, but okay.
Then we had, which I consider, it was a pull apart between Cole and O'Reilly, and Cole shoved Joe out of the way. So Joe went on a chokeout spree.
Yep.
He choked out Adam Cole.
Oh my.
Oh yeah. Then we had Santos Escobar still saying he wants to be North American champion.
Yep.
Which we'll get to that in a little bit about the tryouts. Then we had Kushida against a new guy named Trey Baxter, and it's an open challenge for the Cruiserweight title. Fantastic match. You could tell Baxter watches Will Ospreay stuff.
Okay.
I see a lot of Will Ospreay moves. He was doing I was waiting for him to do Stormcutter. Then Frankie Monet will be repeating her debut next week. And her finisher, she's still doing Road to Valhalla. And even, we know it's the Glam Slam. And even Beth Phoenix says, like, gee, that looks familiar. Then we had Raquel and Dakota against Caden Cross and Casey Catanzaro. Casey's a little bump machine. And you gotta remember, she is Ricochet's girlfriend. And she's learning a lot from Ricochet because she's doing Ricochet type ping, 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 ping moves. And Caden is the workhorse. Remember how it was in the Rock and Roll Express? Ricky Morton always got beat up.
Yep.
That's Casey. She's the little one. She always got beat up. She always got the fucking shit kicked out.
She's the one that you get the sympathy for.
Yeah, she's the one you get sympathy for. But Dakota and Raquel win because it's Dakota and Raquel.
Yeah.
Then Io shows, and then there's a segment. Io Shirai comes back.
Okay.
Then Candice LeRae comes out and just basically rips her into her AZ verbally. Well, Indy Hartwell starts coming in through the back and attacking. And then the Way starts to come in, and guess who saves Io? Zoe Stark. If you've never seen Zoe Stark's new girl came in. I think they got her from Shimmer. She's really good. She's really good. So it looks like at the Great American Bash, which we're getting in 2 weeks, as a regular NXT, it's going to be a 2-week event, like they did last year. We're going to get the Way versus Zoe and Io.
Okay.
Then we had, which was a fucking Texas Tornado brawl. Tommaso Ciampa and Toothless Timmy Thatcher.
Oh, wow.
Against the grizzled young veterans.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, that's right. I mean, they killed each other. They fucking killed each other. Ciampa, for a man who has a fucked up neck, we watched the Ring of Honor. I think you watched it with me when he took on Jay Lethal, where he blew his knee out.
Yeah.
The man's made of steel. The man's made of steel. And Thatcher, I'm a big fan of Thatcher.
Well, I like Thatcher's work. I've seen him in Impact. I saw him. He was in MLW for a good while too.
And he's a throwback. Yeah. He is a definite throwback.
And Ciampa's a scary looking sumbitch. He looks like,
even though he's about like 5'3",
he looks like Captain Spaulding. Basically.
Yeah, he does look like Captain Spaulding.
Alright.
But
okay, now what were you going to say about LA?
LA Oh yeah. We had a segment where there was a presentation of the belt. When he got the belt, and after he did a nice low-key, for LA Knight, low-key, humble promo. Then he said, I finally got what I want, and I'm getting rid of what I don't need. And then he clotheslines Ted DiBiase.
Oh, no shit.
And guess who saves DiBiase? Cameron Grimes. So that carries on that feud.
There's going to be a love triangle for Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, so we're going. Who's going to be for the affections of Ted?
See, I disagree with that booking right there. I mean, as throws people a curve, yeah, but it's like Eli Drake is a perfect heel, and he's a perfect match for that $1 million championship, and to have Ted DiBiase with him, just I don't know. And maybe it's just the old school fan in me. I'd want to,
I didn't write notes, I don't think, for a SmackDown because I was pretty drunk Saturday night watching it.
Tell me, yeah.
Yeah. I rewatched the Hell in a Cell match with Ray and Roman.
Yeah.
Again, USA was pissed about that from what I heard.
Oh, and we'll get to that. There's something about that I want to get to.
Something about, because they were mentioning, and even Fox is pissed about them mentioning the Peacock.
Well, this was the thing. Yeah. that match was supposed to be on Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that was shown on Peacock.
Yep.
Who owns Peacock and USA Network?
NBC. WNBC.
NBC, that's right. And NBC was pissed. Okay?
Oh, yes, they are.
So, because of that, and I just watched the thing earlier with Simon Miller from One Culture talking about that. He said they were acting like two children. It's like, well, you gave him a toy, Daddy. Why don't you give me one? And then they wound up. So then that's why you had on Raw, you had another Hell in a Cell match with.
Well, the rumor I've been hearing, you know where we're going to get at SummerSlam for Roman. You can't see me.
And I also heard that Mr. Sable might be returning too.
Oh, yeah. How would you like to see a Lashley-Lesnar match?
That would be interesting. I mean, both of them have MMA backgrounds as well as history.
Here's the thing. Somebody mentioned this to me. Now that Vince hates managers, that's why they're using the word advocate or special advisor for Heyman. Where's Heyman going to go?
That could be interesting. You could see betrayal of the tribal chief.
Well, the way they're booking Roman now, he's not a cowardly heel. He is a destroyer.
Right, exactly.
He killed Ray.
Yeah.
He literally almost killed Ray.
Yeah, he's a vicious heel. That's how he should be. Somebody that big should be like that.
He's the Samoan Godfather. He's Don Corleone.
Right.
But no, if you watched it's Friday night, and like I said, I watched
bits and pieces of it. I actually, tell you the truth, I fell asleep after the tag match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and all that. But,
yeah, well, we'll get to that in a little bit because we'll get to Hell in a Cell, which we're seeing the same feuds just churning out. And Stephanie McMahon says when the crowds come back, expect surprises.
That doesn't mean they're going to be good. I mean,
that means Lesnar. That means Beck. Well, do we want to talk about Seth's other half?
In a little bit, but I want to mention something about Peacock since you just mentioned Hell in a Cell.
Oh yeah. You talk about this.
Well, it was not a good weekend for the Cock because not only did they miss out on the main event that went to Fox, but apparently a lot of people who subscribe to the Cock, which unfortunately in the U.S. is the only way you can get the WWE Network without some type of foreign VPNs.
Chicanery.
There are reports that a lot of people missed the first 20 minutes of Hell in a Cell. Kind of like how you missed the last few minutes of the very first ECW pay-per-view years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that when the generator blew up.
I can only imagine that would have happened now and you had Twitter. Oh, Lordy.
Oh,
or we had this show then. I can.
Oh, my God, yeah.
You were, man.
Oh, I was like, I was...
You could have launched the Chinese space station, with your temper, okay? That was ridiculous.
Oh, fuck yeah, I know, I remember that, yeah. But, I didn't understand that booking at all, why putting that Hell in a Cell match when it should have been on the pay-per-view.
Well, from what I was told, from what I read and heard, it was because they wanted... right now, I mean, things have changed because of COVID and because of the network. They make more money on the over-air TV shows than they do on the quote-unquote pay-per-views, and that's why they did it. Fox probably muscled them into it.
That's why they did a little change with the Bianca Bayley match to make that a Hell in a Cell match, and I'll get to that in a little bit. It's...
That plus, they had competition from All Pediatric Wrestling that night, too.
Yes. Well, the thing is, no, they didn't because... Well,
I know they came on after SmackDown the same night, yeah.
Which, they're starting to advertise for the Rampage, and I do agree with Russell Talk. After 3 hours of Raw, you just feel so wore out. Are you going to see 3 hours of wrestling on a set Friday night? With the Rampage and SmackDown?
3 hours of the same wrestling, no. I can see with two different programs because there have been many times I would watch Dynamite and then right after that, MLW, in addition to being on YouTube before Dynamite, they would also be on the BN Sports Network, and at my previous residence, I watched it on there. So, if it's different, I mean, I'm different. I mean, a lot of people were probably, like you say, they're burnt out after so many hours of wrestling. But I think a lot of it has to do with it being the same kind of wrestling and the same wrestlers.
Yeah, it's been...
no show should be longer than 2 hours.
That 3-hour show is just Vince's ego run amok.
Well, to defend Vince, I don't think it's so much his ego. It's because USA wanted that.
Back then, but that's when they were drawing 4, 5 point whatever. They're barely drawing 1 million viewers now.
But they probably drew that contract back when WCW was in business. So I mean,
true. Yeah.
But then again, no, they didn't because when WCW folded, they were on Spike. So
yeah. The thing is, if I was the execs of USA and looking at the numbers, I would say either do something to change or we're going to turn you back to 2 hours.
I don't know.
I think a 2-hour show would be great because of the limited roster they got right now because nobody can really still travel.
You say that, but their parent company bought their network. So
yeah.
Basically, the cock is NBC.
True.
The McMahon Network is part of NBC Universal. So,
well, we get into better things. Like I said, I binged a lot of shows Sunday, and one of them was Dynamite.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the Wardlow Jake Hager match.
I like the presentation. I mean, it looked like an MMA show. It looked like if you
even with Audrey Edwards doing the instructions and all that, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they even had a thing where they were like checking them and putting the Vaseline and yeah.
And then with Justin Roberts doing the whole who's the ring announcer for UFC Buffer? Which one?
Oh, it's the Michael Buffer's brother.
Michael brother. Justin Roberts. It's time. He did that. Yeah, I was like. I liked it. Even seeing Wardlow do a Hurricanrana.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked real. I mean, it did look real.
Yeah. And plus, it's two
horses.
It's Godzilla and King Kong. You do want to see those two guys play. So,
Yeah. And what was Cornette's comments? Because you said something off air about this.
He liked the beginning of that, but he thought after a while, he thought that Wardlow was too green, and he thought it looked phony. He thought it was like they had a chance to. He said, if you work MMA, you can do it right, but he didn't think they did it right. He just thought it was, and I think he complained more about the afterbirth afterwards with
You damn kids, get off my lawn!
Yeah, well.
Then we had a bunch of segments with Team Taz and Kaz and Kingston and Penta. Then we had a handicap match. Again, Darby Allin's going to die in the ring. That kid is not going to make it past 30.
Well, that's the storyline, but,
Against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, who are now calling themselves the Men of the Year.
He's going to hurt himself. I can see him being like Sabu and, doing a GoFundMe for him and,
The Genie?
The Genie, because of hip surgery and all that shit. I mean, yeah.
Now, we're going to move on to your favorite guy, Pockets. Against Cesar Bononi. And how they were doing spray tan on him.
They promised to give him a makeover. And
they did spray tan and put it on Nesbitt's jacket on him.
That's one thing I've noticed about that company, and they haven't really talked too much about it. Those guys don't know how to spray tan worth a damn. I mean, there have been several times where I've seen the Young Bucks and Omega where it's like, you see the shit dripping off. It's disgusting.
Kind of like Rudy Giuliani with the hair dye.
Pretty much. I mean, I was thinking more like Willy Wonka, like the fat kid. And get sucked up in the soup. Oh no, Otto! Yeah, next thing you know, I don't know, Nakamaka's gonna eat the blueberry and blow up like Veruca Salt, or the other girl did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Then we had a Jungle Boy Omega Scala segment. Did you see this?
I did.
What'd you think? It was a standard bait and switch.
Okay, here's the deal with Omega. And I'm not even talking about
the heel. He's supposed to be the heel.
He's supposed to be the heel. And okay, and he works as a heel because I don't like him. But,
okay.
But in a lot of ways, he doesn't work like a heel. Because he sounds, and this is one thing I agree with Cornette about. He sounds like, and I don't want to say that on here. I don't want to offend anybody LGBT, but he sounds very effeminate. If he tried to pick a fight with me and talk to me the same way he did, I'd be laughing in his face because.
So would I?
I mean, he's not very intimidating. And granted, if people would probably do that to me if I tried to talk shit because of my voice. But that being said, I'm not a wrestler, and if you're the world champion, he's trying to be cocky like Flair or Bockwinkel or whatever. Okay, I get that, but it's not working with him. Somebody needs to coach him on how to cut a promo.
Yeah.
It's better. I mean, Callis
he does the same thing in Impact, the same speech pattern.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole thing is, I mean, supposedly his character, he's supposed to be imitating a Japanophile, and he does the exaggerated pointing and the facial expressions, and it's like, Hulk Hogan did that shit, when he was feuding with Roddy Piper. He looked like an ass.
You know who Omega has in his front view at Slammiversary?
Who?
Callahan. You want to see Sammy Callahan carve him up?
Sure thing, yeah. I want to see him hit him with the horse trailer that he tried to give to Vance Warner in MLW.
Yeah. They advertised this commercial for State Farm. Have you seen about this? About them doing a personal match for this married couple for an anniversary gift?
No.
This was actually pretty cool. State Farm gave a lucky fan, she's a big AEW fan, and her husband, they made her a wrestling card.
They found a woman who's actually an AEW fan? Okay.
Yeah, and she goes to indie shows, she's a big mark. And apparently there was some kind of contest or drawing. It was their anniversary. So Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against SCU. I mean, Daniels and Kazarian in their literally backyard.
When did they film this? Because that goes against the whole storyline of SCU breaking up.
I think they filmed it months ago before that. But I thought it was a very touching thing. It was an overall State Farm commercial, but it was pretty cool. I can send you the link on YouTube, and you can see it yourself, and you can judge for yourself.
Okay, well, I mean, if it's like a charity... Well, I'd love to see if State Farm's going to get involved. I want to see State Farm beat the shit out of Pockets. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And then see a run-in from the progressive people.
Yeah.
Or Liberty Mutual, see that Emu beat the shit out of that.
Then we had Matt Hardy and Christian, where they lacked Christian Cage in a cage. So that feud never died.
Yeah.
Or did it? Or from like the TLC matches from 20 years ago?
I guess.
Then we had Cody and Brock. What did you think of Brock Anderson?
Well, I like him. I mean,
he looks just like his dad.
He looks like that. He looks like a cross between his dad and Ole.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's got the same facial and hair pattern as dad, and
the scowl of
Ole. Yeah.
Against who was it? Aaron Solo and QT Marshall.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd see a spine buster out of the kid. I was hoping we did see the DDT.
Right.
But what did you think of that match?
Tell you the truth, I don't know if I even saw. I saw like highlights of it. I mean, okay. I don't know. It's just one of those typical AEW mid-card faction things. It's like, all right. What do you want? Dundalk Calling or Birdhouse? Okay? I got Heineken in there. I'll take that back. There are two people in Marcel's faction that I like. I like the Olympic boxer.
Go, and that big Brody throwback guy?
Yes. He's awesome. I wish he would break away from them.
He reminds me of a cross between Brody and Cactus.
To me, I think he'd be a good fit in Team Taz myself.
Oh, speaking of Cactus, this is a little side note. I haven't watched it yet. The Stone Cold sessions, those Broken Skull sessions, they just did one with Mick Foley.
Okay.
And from what I read, he does talk extensively about his time in TNA. He said he lost faith in TNA the second year he was there.
Well, yeah. Of course. Oh, yeah, old Russo.
Yeah, that was that when Russo was there?
Oh, yeah. He actually came up with that name.
Oh, yeah. Then we had the Andrade interview, which they had to caption because his English is not all perfect.
Right.
Basically, he put himself over as like an over-glorified asshole.
Well, that's kind of what he was in WWE and probably in AAA, too. So, I mean, that fits him. He looks like that.
Then we had the Dark Order Hangman segment. Didn't give a shit. Then we had the only women's match in the entire time. The Varsity Blondes, Julia Hart versus Penelope Ford, where Kip wasn't there.
You're right.
Kip! Miro showed up after that match and chased Penelope off. And all of a sudden, the Varsity Blondes are attacking Miro. It looks like we're going to get Brian Pillman Jr. versus Miro for the TNT title this Saturday.
Didn't they already fight for it?
No. Either that or it's been taped already.
Oh, no, okay, yeah. All right. No, you know what? I'm thinking the tag teams.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but a false finish or nothing.
Because they had a pull, Pillman Jr. and Miro had a pull apart.
Yeah.
Well, you think Miro's going to kill this kid too?
Oh, yeah. Pillman's... I like Pillman. I've seen him in MLW a lot before this, but he jobs a lot for this company.
You think he's still too green?
No, not really. He's just enhancement. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with AEW. A lot of wrestlers are kind of like they show like the win-loss records, but they count the 2 YouTube shows that
nobody watches.
Right, and
because there's so much wrestling out there right now, it's hard to keep track.
Right. And I mean, Monday you have Raw and you have Dark Revelation. Tuesday you have Dark. You have NWA Power and you have NXT.
Wednesday night's usually AEW, but since the basketball playoffs are on like the last couple of Fridays, they're going to be on this Saturday.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about that though, because I don't know, Cornette made a good point about it, and I'm kind of in agreement with him on this.
What's that?
At first I wasn't, because I'm thinking, fuck, Friday and Saturday nights are bad times for TV, but for some sporting events they work. The reason they're on Fridays and Saturdays is because of basketball playoffs, and next year the same network, it will be because of hockey playoffs.
Yep.
Saturdays usually do pretty well for they'll have the Stanley Cup or the NBA Finals.
What do you remember the numbers that WCW Saturday Night drew? They probably drew not bad numbers.
Not only WCW Saturday Night, but
the old
Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah. Well, that was like at 11:30 at night, though.
Right, yeah, that was Saturday Night Live's time slot because Saturday Night Live started to take a shit, so they were getting better ratings.
That was that was Ebersol too. So, but we're going to probably get this. Guess what time they're supposed to start on Saturday night?
What?
6:05.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding you. It's kind of like
they're copying off the NWA.
Where did the original NWA be aired? On the Turner Networks.
Yeah, true. But
yeah. So, they have the right to do it.
They have the right to do it. Which I always thought was kind of strange. I always thought, TBS, get your shit together. You're running your show 5 minutes late because of reruns of Andy Griffith. Come on. I mean, it's like basically airing live wrestling on MeTV now,
Then we had the Britt Baker, Rebel, Vicky Guerrero something. Who's the heel?
Trying to figure that out myself.
Because Vicky is a heel, Nyla Rose is a heel, and it looks like it's either going to be an All Out or upcoming episodes of Dynamite. We're going to have Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose.
I think they might be turning... I'm going to say they might be turning Baker, only because of some comments where... And it could just be her being disingenuous too, but she was saying, that was rude for Nyla to do this, Yeah,
well, the burgers?
Not only that, but also that week with what she did to hers, making fun of her because of her height and all that.
Yeah. So. Well, Baker's tall. She's taller than Shivani?
Well, I mean, hers is very, very short though. She's
Yeah.
but I mean, seeing compared to Nyla, I mean, Nyla, if Nyla wanted to retire and make history in the NFL and wear a uniform of a purple team, I mean, she might be good on the line.
Or climb the Empire State Building and swatting planes down.
I wouldn't go that far, but you know.
What do you think of Jade Cargill so far?
Mixed feelings.
That bitch.
Yeah, that bitch.
That bitch.
That bitch needs to learn how to do that promo, for one thing.
Well, she's got a mouthpiece, and I don't know where they got this idiot from.
He was, if you remember, he was a lawyer for MJF when they had that match between.
Oh yeah. And I think,
but they got him from somewhere else.
They got him in Impact as being a lawyer there too. I think.
Right.
I don't like it. I never was sold on on Cargill.
I like her look. I think she's still green though. I think
she's like they're trying to make her a Black China.
Pretty much. That's what I got too. China or like a Camille, somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, Camille's the new statuesque woman now. So
Camille, at least though, Camille has. I mean, a lot of her stuff. She kind of reminds me of Goldberg because she does a lot of spears and tackles, and she did play football. So it's like she incorporates a lot of that into her stuff.
We'll talk about Bill in a little bit because of the rumors I heard.
Oh, okay.
Then we have the main event, and I know you hate the Matt Jackson. I know you have mixed feelings about the Good Brothers against Penta, Kaz, and Kingston. What'd you think?
I don't have mixed feelings about the Good Brothers. I actually like them. I like them more than you do, definitely.
Well, because Carl Anderson I saw in New Japan by himself, and when he came into Ring of Honor, I thought he was pretty good, but they teamed him up with him.
I mean,
I think he drags him down.
Well, I don't know about that. I think they work better as a team than individually.
And I'm not a big fan of the Magic Killer. I don't think it's a good finisher.
Yeah.
And now the Gorillas are doing it now.
Right.
Over in Japan. Speaking of which.
But at least Gallows and Anderson, they use more than one move besides button mash super kick, button mash super kick, button mash super kick, button mash super kick.
Here's the thing. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them in Japan.
We might not see them.
We'll see. They might. Well, they're doing Strong.
You're right. That's the
which is in LA. Did you hear who's on Strong? Dirty Tom Lawler.
Okay.
Tom Lawler's there. Moxley's going to be there.
Filthy Tom Lawler.
Filthy Tom
and we will be seeing him in Philadelphia, by the way.
Yes. Filthy Tom Lawler is there. The Good Brothers are going to be doing a couple of tapings with them. Moxley's going to defend the U.S. title there. I forgot who else is going to be there. There are a lot of their American students are going, which are they're trained by. I forgot the guy's name. They had to retire because of he had a brain injury. But it's basically it's going to be an American style of New Japan.
Gotcha.
Now I want to get to Hell in a Cell. Mixed review. I have mixed reactions about this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The 2 cell matches were fantastic.
Right.
The first match was on the pre-show was Mandy Rose versus Natty. Did you care? Would you care to watch that?
I can't.
We both have a soft spot. We both have a soft spot for Natty.
And for Mandy Rose.
Yeah, and we have a hard spot for Mandy. But
well, I had him for both. Probably more so than Natalia for Natty, to tell you the truth. But anyway.
Well, we could Natalia because of the legacy there.
But yeah, as far as wrestling and stuff, yeah, it's like, especially Mandy Rose with Dana Brooks, it's like, who cares?
It's interchangeable blondes, big tit blondes.
Right, it's gotten to the point, yeah, you're right, you can't tell them apart now. It's like...
Now, they opened up the proper show with Bianca and Bayley and Hell in a Cell, which they killed each other. I mean, they were going balls out.
And I like the fact that they were both trying to use Bianca's hair as a weapon.
When they wrapped her to the leg, then wrapped it to the chair, then Bianca wrapped it to Bayley's wrist.
If they ever turn Bianca heel, what I would do, keep that hair like that and that point over her hair, make that like a fucking knife or something. You know?
Well, when she was on NXT, she was a heel and she was using it as a weapon. She actually put a mark on Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
because it was heel versus heel, and she went after Baszler's title at the time, which we'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh, no, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Then, to me, one of the other matches tonight was Seth Rollins Cesaro. And Seth won a roll-up.
I mean, those two could do like every single drug in the ECW locker room and drink everything that you did this past Saturday and still have a good match. I don't know how you put those two together and not have one.
Yeah, because they're both former Ring of Honor guys.
Yeah.
They both went through the CCW. Mm-hmm. They both went through the Indies. Then...
Oh, wow, that's two words I haven't seen or read in a while. Spooky bullshit!
Spooky. Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. After what we saw the Monday night beforehand, do you want to talk about that? About with the doll.
The doll, the hypnotism, Although the hypnotism, I think that's kind of funny. It's almost like if you're going to mix Bewitched with the Three Stooges, I mean, this
is the part I agree with Russell Talk. What did Shayna do at the end of Raw with the doll? She was trapped in a room. It's kind of like Annabelle, right? And the lights went out, and you heard this blood-curdling scream from Shayna. Shayna came out like the shit kicker that she is and wasn't scared of her. She should have showed some fear. She should have showed some emotion.
Well, I don't know. I kind of disagree with that for this reason. If you think about it, usually bullies that are in a fight, when they're supposed to be scared or something, they try to save face for a little bit. And that's and storyline wise, it's what it looked like tried to do. That being said, Shayna Baszler should be killing. Alexa Bliss had been beaten up by Ronda Rousey, had been squashed by Nia Jax.
Yes.
Okay? First of all, she should have taken that doll and shredded it like Raven does with toilet paper when I don't hide the rolls from her, okay? Make origami out of it.
Yeah.
Then, you go to Little Miss Bliss and you
amp up the spookiness.
Yeah, you take her away from the playground and go to the basketball court right next to it and slam dunk those students. No,
all she is now staring at people and hypnotizing them. And Shayna was like trying to shake it off the entire time. And then, the stupidest part of the match was when she hypnotized Nia into slapping Reginald.
Right, well, okay, now that part was funny. I actually like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that being said, yeah. So this is my whole thing with the whole Alexa Bliss.
It started out great, now it turns to shit.
Not only turns to shit, but you and I read comics for years and watch these superhero movies come out now. To me, it's kind of like when you take a character that's related to a popular character and you try to spin on a movie off on their own. Yeah. For example, you have a Punisher movie and a Venom movie without Spider-Man. You have a Joker movie without Batman. That's
kind of sort of. Yeah. She's Harley Quinn. She wants to be Harley Quinn.
Okay, well, she always did want to be Harley Quinn. I don't have a problem with that, but the reason she has all these spooky superpowers is because she was with the Fiend.
Which, by the way, purposely being kept off television.
Which is like, see, you have Supergirl before you have Superman. You have Batwoman before you have Batman. You wouldn't have either.
Arrow.
Well, Green Arrow is different.
Who's like the spoiled rich boy who's, yeah.
But no, I mean, Green Arrow started his own thing, though. Yeah. I mean, but you had the female spin-offs of the originals.
Yeah.
That's what Alexa Bliss is. She's a female spin-off of Bray Wyatt.
Which I feel sorry for Bray when he comes back, because I don't know how they're going to book him now.
They're probably hoping not to. And that's the whole thing. They were making money off of merch and stuff. And
we haven't seen him since the day at the Raw After Mania. We have not seen him since the Raw After Mania. And from what I'm hearing, they're keeping him off until the crowds come back.
Probably some executive from the cock is telling Vince not to do
spooky. But they'll allow this little big titty blonde to do the same shit.
I wish he would do it to me. But, I mean, but yeah.
Now, let's get off that soapbox. We'll get to the next match, which was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Which they were kept on playing the whole Owens getting the Nigerian nail twice in the throat, where he couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
From Sami Zayn won. From what I've been hearing, Kevin Owens is going to take time off. We ain't going to see him for a little while.
Right.
We don't know for how long though. And he'll probably do videos of him playing bowling with his son.
Maybe, and I hope it means good things for Sami Zayn. I love his character, and a lot of people are saying, you know, he's fun as a babyface because he was like that in NXT and Ring of Honor and shit. But,
when he was Generico?
Yeah, but I like him how he is now. He's
a conspiracy nut from hell.
Yeah.
I do like it. He was like, they're all against me. They're all against me.
He's like Michael Moore if he was a skinny, wiry wrestler.
If they do go back to Saudi Arabia, which I'm hearing they're going to be doing at the end of this year, maybe beginning next year, he cannot go.
Right, yeah.
Because of his Syrian descent.
Yeah.
And did you hear what kind of charity work he's doing?
Mm-mm.
He's doing for the war refugees and for the Syrian civil war. He's raising money for it.
Right. So
which I think he's doing a good thing.
Which, again, will keep him out of Abu Dhabi, Boo-Bobby, Banana Nana, Boo-Bobby.
Yeah. And, they'll have to change Rey Mysterio's mask because it has a cross on it.
Yeah. Well, he's got enough of them.
Yeah. Now, the Rhea Ripley-Charlotte Flair match, which Charlotte won by DQ because Rhea ripped the banner off the desk and hit Charlotte with it in front of the referee. How many times have people been doing that on Raw? On SmackDown and not been DQ'd?
On Raw, SmackDown,
NXT,
Nitro, NXT, ECW,
and never been DQ'd.
Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Never been DQ'd. This was a DQ.
I think Abraham Lincoln even did that in a match.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
this was a DQ, and again, did you hear what Charlotte said at the end of the match? You're learning, bitch.
You're right. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I mean, Rhea Ripley, if she had that same look like 30 years ago, she would be a villain. She would be Luna Vachon.
She's the character from Mad Max.
Right.
Well, she is Australian.
Right.
Yeah, but
so, I mean, I have no problem with. Well, I don't understand how they say. I mean, they're trying to say that Charlotte's going to be the sympathetic babyface now, but it's kind of
she's a cocky heel.
Right.
The pull apart they had on Raw a couple weeks ago was fantastic, by the way, where she busted open Charlotte, I think, in the eye, around the eye or the nose.
Right.
But they're going to continue this feud at Money in the Bank, and we'll get to that in a little bit too.
And what you might even see happen is they might team together and form either an Injustice Society or a brotherhood of evil mutants against Scotland's new superhero.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit too, and maybe an Irish last kicker. Then we get the Hell in a Cell match between Lashley and Drew. If Drew loses, as long as Lashley's champion, can never challenge for the title.
Right.
They killed each other. Did you see Drew's back?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my fucking God. It looked like me after my dad got a hold of me.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
That would look like you Saturday night.
No, I wasn't that bad. And Lashley was cut open too on his back, if I remember correctly, because I remember he had a bandage on last night.
Right.
They killed each other. That was it wasn't Undertaker Brock Lesnar bloodbath Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
But they killed each other. They want balls out for what they could without bleeding all over the place. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Which you probably saw highlights of it. What'd you think?
I agree. It was a good match, and I agree with them keeping the belt on Lashley. I think they should keep it on him for a good while. I like Drew McIntyre, but no, I mean Lashley. They are saving him for a big event in front of crowds.
What do you think? Even though Vince hates the word managers, what did you think of MVP as being his whatever the hell he is?
I like him in that role, and again,
he's transitioned so well.
I wish they would have kept the Hurt Business together. I loved that was a good Four Horsemen style faction. I thought that was great.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit because I'm seeing something building here after watching last night. Speaking of which, last night I got the notes right here. We had MVP and Lashley having the VIP lounge, which they are having a toast. And what with Lashley? What did Russell call them all? Lashley sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because
I think he's also trying to bring back the Godfather gimmick, having different moves each week. But anyway.
And Lashley, for once, not sweating through the fucking suit. Out comes New Day, not with pancakes, you know what they have? Toast. And they're tossing toast at him.
Yeah.
Which MVP kept on saying, he's a clown. You're a clown against Kofi. He's a clown. Kofi challenged him at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
We're going to see a murder of a man.
Maybe. We'll see.
Remember, how long did he last against Lesnar? 8 seconds?
Well, that was just a squash for that. But
yeah, it was a squash for that debut on Fox.
Kofi can go Broadway if he has to, so.
They keep on bringing back beating Daniel Bryan. Yeah, you beat Daniel Bryan, but Bobby Lashley's a different animal.
Well.
How they're going to book that, we don't know. It'll be a competitive match, I think. I think the Kofi's never say die thing and being positivity thing. Mm-hmm. That would be great. Then we had qualifier matches for Money in the Bank. Ricochet over AJ Styles. What do you think about that?
Surprise, and it's about damn time they gave him a win. So I'm hoping that translates into something.
What is Money in the Bank? A ladder match. It's definitely going to be a bump fest. So who bumps better, AJ or Ricochet?
They're both pretty good at it, actually.
Who's good at better high spots? Ricochet.
AJ's got a good aerial game too, though. So, but yeah, Ricochet, that's his strength, for sure.
Then we had an RK Bro segment, which, do you agree with Russell talking to other people saying it's probably the best thing on Raw?
Hell no.
Okay.
I don't want any... Randy Orton, poor Randy Orton.
He likes it from what I'm hearing. He's laughing his ass off backstage.
It must be Stockholm Syndrome. Putting him with that fucking doofus, I swear to God.
After 3 or 4 months with The Fiend? This is kind of a lighthearted turn for him, even though he's still...
I'm happy for him as far as it being a different program, but I swear, if there's a way I could put Riddle, Orange Cassidy, and the Young Bucks, and then just have him in a handicap match against Godzilla, I would. I swear to God. But anyway.
He kept running his mouth, and Randy just like, take the key, throw it away. Then we had an Eva Marie segment. We knew that's Piper Niven from NXT UK. They finally gave her the name. Do you want to...
Doudrop.
You see how they spelled it? Doudrop.
What's this?
I don't get it either. That's Doudrop. When she got the name, if you saw the segment, you kind of noticed she didn't like it. She did most of then we had Asuka and Naomi in a Money in the Bank qualifier tag match?
That made no damn sense.
No! Against Eva Marie and Doudrop. And Doudrop did most of the work again.
Right.
But when I think it was Naomi who was down, Eva Marie got tagged. Then when the offense from the faces started back up, she wanted to tag Doudrop back in. Doudrop dropped down and didn't take the tag. So there's the session as soon as it starts.
Just like with Riker and Elias.
Yeah. As soon as it starts, and we got Asuka and Naomi in the Money in the Bank match, which I would like that.
I'd like to see Asuka there again. So
then we had another backstage. We had a Rhea, Charlotte, Sonya, Pierce segment, which we're at Money in the Bank. We're going to get Charlotte and Sonya again.
Yep.
Spinning its wheels. Rhea's just spinning her wheels and not going anywhere, even though she's the champ.
Well, who are they going? How many women do they have for her to wrestle against? They need more.
Do you want to do this now, or we can do it after we do the Raw report? Who's been spotted at the Performance Center working in the ring with Indy Hartwell?
Who?
Becky.
Oh, okay.
Becky's coming back.
So they're saving her for Becky, right?
For Becky, for either Money in the Bank, where I got a feeling Becky's going to be in Money in the Bank match. Right. She's going to be like a wild card.
And she has a storyline with leaving her belt in the briefcase for Asuka.
Yeah. Then we had another backstage segment with Mandy, Tamina, Natty, and Dana again.
Oh, yeah.
Don't care.
And it's a shame because, I mean, in other situations I would care about all four of those ladies. But anyway.
Then we had Randy Orton, who's still the same character but babyface? Huh? What?
I think it's babyface by association because
Riddle?
it's with dipshit, yeah.
Against John Morrison. Which, the funny thing is Miz is in the wheelchair because he's got the blown ACL. He has one of those squirt guns, the dripstick they're calling them. And he squirted Orton. Orton was getting ready to chase him around and says, I'm injured, I got a wheelchair, I'm injured. Here comes Riddle on the scooter. Then it's like a slow speed chase. I did laugh my ass off when I saw that. Because Miz is good for comedy. And Morrison beat Orton. Again, it's a Money in the Bank match. It's for
It's
bumps.
a distraction.
For bumps and high spots, and Morrison's good for bumps and high spots.
Right.
With his finisher, who we haven't seen him do that in for how long?
Right.
Then we had another Money in the Bank qualifier, another women's tag match. Then we can talk about it.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. I don't think she's... No.
Is she
you got Molly Holly 2.0. No.
Is she Mighty Molly 2.0?
Actually, her costume is more like the Hurricane. And I like
They even mentioned it last night. Corey Graves kind of like gave like a side mention to that last night.
It looks somewhat like Batgirl almost.
Yeah.
But yeah.
From what Killian Dane said on Twitter, that is her idea. She pitched this idea. She wanted to do it.
Okay.
Where are they going to... They debuted her with new music, and you want to... Okay, I'm not going to say it, you say it. Who they team her with?
My spooky bullshit.
Yeah, my spooky bullshit. Which she did more hypnotizing on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Alexa Vision.
Yeah. Alexa Vision. Which, if she was a total... Does it mean she's a face?
Well, she's always been... supposedly she's been a face through all this because supposedly Randy Orton was the heel through all that. So.
But it makes no sense about that sale. It's like that commercial.
What about Raw makes sense now, Chris? Come on.
It's like that old woman with the pictures on the wall. This is my pictures. This makes no sense. None of this makes no sense. When I saw it, I was like, why? Why, Nikki? I know she's building on the 2 wins.
She's trying to think of something new that'll get her more TV time.
And you think they'll probably get her merch for the kids. Especially little girls.
That's one thing I had heard on One Culture that they also said too. And I think it's an apt description of Raw. It's a show that's written for kids that's watched by 50-year-olds.
but they're written for a guy who's 75.
Well, who probably has the mind of a kid right now. But
then we got Alexa and Nikki. So Alexa and Nikki are going to be in the Money in the Bank match. So who's she going to hypnotize the entire time? She's going to hypnotize the whole field while she walks up the fucking ladder?
Maybe you can do like a Clash of the Titans where Nikki or somebody will have like a mirrored shield. When she tries to do the Medusa stare, bounces right off her and creates her out.
Next we had the Drew McIntyre, a.k.a. What does that say?
The history lesson segment there.
Because he's talking about Churchill now. I was like, first we get Wayne Wallace, then there was another one about a famous Scottish guy. Now we're getting Winston Churchill. What is this shit about that?
It's because he's British and
he's Scottish.
Part of the UK, but he can't think of running out of ideas for him, you know. And of course, as far as the history lesson, you forget he also claims to be King Arthur before in his ring entrance. So
Then we had the Jinder Mahal, Jeff Hardy, Cedric Alexander, Sheamus segment, which made no sense because Jinder was like, what if somebody is injured and can't qualify? They're qualified and they're injured and they can't make it. Can I be an alternate? Then there's a smile on his face and walking away with those 2 big Indian dudes with him.
Okay, well, with that Dundalk calling and Birdhouse, I have like some beer nuts. I got some Fritos. Break some of them out too, I guess. Okay.
But then you had Cedric saying he's in the prime and he already beat this old relic pointing to Hardy. And Sheamus is still crying and he's like, and then, I'm the U.S. champion. I should be out there in the money. And it's like, he's still wearing the fucking mask. Mm-hmm. And when Pierce says something about, are you ready to compete? Then he goes into a whining bitch mode going, my nose still hurts. I'm not going to go out just yet.
Oh, God.
I still need sunglasses to look at Sheamus.
Yeah.
Then we had Riddle versus Drew for the qualifier match. Now, if Riddle won, is that the loophole if he won the Money in the Bank that he could challenge Lashley?
That's probably how they'll get around that, yeah.
Yeah, but it was Riddle. Then it was Riddle, and we're going to get Riddle and Money in the Bank. Hopefully somebody will stop on his feet.
Oh, jeez.
Then we got Jackson Riker talking to himself most of the damn time. And then we got Mansoor Mustafa. Mansoor talking to him. Then he turns around and Mustafa's right there. Mustafa Ali. I still think they're trying to do a Middle Eastern faction.
Oh, okay.
Because I know Mansoor's from Saudi.
For one of the Abu Dhabi Banana Fanapopabi shows. Yeah.
Or Money in the Bank or whatever. Or SummerSlam when the crowds come back.
But I'm saying more of the Arabic shows because, I mean, Mansoor supposedly was really popular over there. Yeah. So.
Then we had the main event, which was Hell in a Cell with Xavier Woods and Lashley. He killed Xavier Woods. He basically murdered Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods, I mean, you were talking about Darby Allin and people being bumped scenes. That guy, oh my God. Seems like he's always getting punked out. But.
Yeah, I like how Xavier says, well, I got my own YouTube channel because he was never world champion. Bobby is, Kofi was.
Yeah.
I'm a host of G4. I'm almost an 11-time WWE World Champion. Yeah, you're a tag team champion. Has he ever held a singles title in WWE? No.
Not yet.
He was former X Division champion in another company.
Yeah.
And he wasn't he Pac-Man Jones's partner?
Yeah, oh God.
Or was that R-Truth?
I think you're right. I think it was R-Truth.
R-Truth, yeah. R-Truth and Pac-Man Jones were the former TNA, NWA tag team champions.
Okay.
Yeah. Overall, Ali Davis on Wrestle Talk gave it a 4 out of 5. He actually gave it hope.
Right.
I saw the same bullshit.
Well,
they're trying to switch it up a little bit with these Money in the Bank matches, and they're going to have a second chance triple threat with Orton, AJ, and forgot who else. Whoever lost the other match. Orton, AJ, and AJ, Orton, and Drew. A triple threat match. And Drew gets in, that's the loophole.
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree with both you and Ali Davis. I think it is a little better, but for the most part, it's the same old bullshit. Really, the only thing interesting about both main roster shows are their champions. Lashley and who he's fighting, and Roman Reigns who he's fighting.
And Roman just being Roman. Roman's the best thing in the whole company right now.
SmackDown, their women are more interesting. I mean, I like with
even though Sasha's on a side of a milk cart.
But Bianca and Bayley are, I mean, they're a good pairing. I like those two.
But that's the only thing they got. What Carmella?
I like me some Carmella. But yeah, they gotta give her something to do.
Liv?
I'm just saying they're slightly more. I mean, they're more. That doesn't mean that they're all that interesting.
Though
it seems like they're doing slightly more with them in SmackDown than they are in Raw.
And technically, if you go by the roster, Natty and Tamina are SmackDown.
Yeah.
That leads me to what I heard also today. In September, we're going to get another draft. We're time to shake things up.
He just need to take the meds in his, in his bag. Okay, that's all they need to do, and just
get rid of the blank spray split.
Just sell the company to the Cock or to Disney or whatever, and just get it over with.
Again, I said this on the last show. Why don't he turn it over to his kids?
I don't blame him for not wanting to turn it over to his kids because Stephanie's hiring all these stupid writers from shitty comedy shows. I mean, they are not getting
no, it's not.
They're not getting any wrestlers to book angles. They're getting people from Adult Swim.
Again, this is. I don't think it's Stephanie. It's the con man.
Oh,
in Nick Khan. I think it's Nick Khan pulling a lot of strings.
Either that, or it's some Bucky Beaver,
or Pritchard, or Laurinaitis.
But Pritchard and Laurinaitis, they're just yes men to Vince. They're the new Stooges. They're the real Stooges. They're like how Briscoe and Patterson used to be.
One of the things that Callis said to Dreamer when they did the whole firing thing, he called Dreamer a Bruce Pritchard stooge.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. He said that on air.
I love you. That doesn't mean I like you.
Yeah. But he kept on calling him a stooge. Then they called him a Bruce Pritchard stooge. I was like, can they say that on air?
Oh, why not?
So, what about the NWA? You said you just watched it?
Yes. It had some interesting developments. There were possible dissension in the Strictly Business faction, where they had a three-way bout for the... It was the final match when you came in. It was three-way bout for the qualifying match for the national championship. It's the vacant belt right now.
Yeah, because did Masters have it at one time, or Adonis, whatever his name was?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was in a match with his partner in Strictly Business, Tommy Latimer, and Paro.
All from AAA?
And Japan, yeah. And he was also in MLW too. And that was a good match. And the whole thing was, it was like Strictly Business. They kept saying, we're going to try to keep in the business. So it's like when they wrestle each other,
keep it in the family.
Keep it in the family. They were trying to keep they actually had like chain wrestling matches. They didn't strike or anything until one of them would turn around and try to pin Paro, and Adonis Masters, whatever you want to call him, wound up winning that and see a little bit.
You think they're going to put the belt back on him?
Probably.
Or are they going to put it back on Murdoch? Because Murdoch right now, I saw last week's show.
Yeah.
We're seeing the heel turn of Trevor Murdoch soon.
But in that same match, he was doing commentary with Aaron Stevenson. I don't think so. At first, well, you didn't see the promo last week. Last week he had said, yeah, I came home all pissed off.
Yeah, I saw it. I was watching last week.
Yeah, and his wife talked sense into him, and it's like...
Here's the other thing that got me is when I watched, who is that masked man?
He looks familiar, though. I can't
place it myself. But who came out, it was Sabian. It was Cheese. Was it during that segment?
Yeah.
It was Cheese.
Oh, no. Cheese? Black Cheese? No.
Tyrus. That's right. Tyrus.
Yeah, that was kind of puzzling, but... Because
we've seen Cheese through the Indies.
Yeah.
Former CZW Tag Team Champion with Blackout and Philly's Most Wanted. The guy can work. The guy can fucking work his ass off. I'm glad he's got a national forum to be on now.
But I don't know. Thunder Rosa looks like Camille standing next to him, though. He looks like a runt.
Well, he's not. I'm bigger than he is. I'm almost 6 foot.
Well, you're taller. You're not bigger. He's a spark plug. He's like Taz.
Yeah, he's like Taz. Yeah, but the boy's a high flyer. He can work. He's a former CZW World Champion. I think he worked Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. I remember him on 1 week. He was on WWE. He was on SmackDown being fed to Ryback. Then this is when SmackDown was on Tuesday. That Thursday he was on Impact. Mm. And I think he was on Ring of Honor television because it was taped at the New Burns Arena like a month earlier with Blackout. Okay. So he was on 3 major wrestling promotion television shows in 1 week. Nobody else can claim that.
Well, I don't know. A few wrestlers have done at least 2. I mean, Rick Rude's done that.
Yeah, I like that. You're easily replaced.
Oh, that was another thing that was interesting with the ladies. So they had an interview segment. At first it was just with Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. Mm-hmm. And they're both kind of baby faces, but Thunder Rosa alluded saying that Serena Deeb was Serena Deeb said, yeah, a lot of people haven't seen me on Power that much. I kind of feel like an outsider. And then Thunder Rosa said, that's because you are. You you're not really NWA. You spent more time defending your belt in AEW than you did in NWA.
And she did mention AEW.
Yeah, in fact, he even mentions, like, and plus you're always trying to steal my shine. You're always trying to copy what I do. I brought the NWA belt to AEW long before you did, you know.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff.
The or what does she call it? What does Camille call it? The Burke.
Yep.
The Mildred Burke.
Mildred Burke. But then the announcer asked each woman, said, as far as any stars of the future, who you name, and then it was Smiley, Kylie Ray, and then Thunder Rosa mentioned Sky Blue, and then Melina came out and said, oh, you know, and Sky Blue got in Melina's face and said, you keep calling me a rookie, why do you pick me for our team? Said, well, you're not ready yet, and all this stuff. And then the next thing you know, it turned into, at first, a pull apart between Serena and Thunder Rosa. Then it wound up being 5 cats fighting over the same piece of fish in the alley. Yeah.
I have a question. Who is Psychogen? Or who is that big chick with the?
They had her on there too.
Because she was at the coronation.
Yeah.
And got in between. Her and Melina got into it. So I don't know who this girl is.
You're driving me crazy, but yeah, I think she came with Thunder Rosa from Mission Pro because she was her partner there, and I think they feuded there too. But
like I said, I've been watching NWA. I didn't like the show after the pay-per-view because all you had was like maybe 2 matches and too many talk segments.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Billy Corgan: he knows his history. He definitely knows the history, and he's such a wrestling historian.
He does that, and on the same token, I think he also still tries to keep it modern. But what I like about his style, as far as he still has that studio feel, and he keeps the fighting and the wrestling grounded. You don't see flippy shit. You do see some, once in a while you do see some aerial stuff. I mean, you brought in 2 guys from Mexico that did it, but they do it to make sense in a match. They're not like
the Bucks.
They're not like the Bucks, mash, you know, super kick, Will
Ospreay in Japan, where all he is the flippy flop guy.
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, when you and I used to like trade tapes and get DVDs that shows with the Japanese stuff, I mean, we got it because that was special. That was different from you.
Yeah, I mean, because they have that Super Juniors tournament, the Super J Cup, and all that shit.
And that's why, you know, Sabu had a lot of notoriety because what he did then was different. Now you see that in every goddamn match. Every match.
Harry.
Yeah. You have the flying off the rope. You have the plunges through the ropes to the 4 guys up waiting to catch him outside, which is the biggest crock of bullshit in pro wrestling.
Which Cornette is dumping on anybody who's doing the dive through the ropes now.
If you were fighting for real, Chris, I mean, if you were outside somewhere and like somebody's like jumping off of like a top of a building to land on you, would you stand there to catch him? Fuck no. You would stand out of the way and let him make his face into a pizza.
When Red Velvet did that, I forgot who she went up against a couple weeks ago on Dynamite, and I thought she landed on her fucking head.
She might have.
And Cornette went off on it on Twitter. He even put the video on Twitter.
I saw that. I saw that.
He went off on it on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody can get hurt doing that. Sure.
Yeah, Moxley's been doing it for a while. Who was it doing? In Eddie Edwards still does it. In Impact, I mean, like you said, every Tom, Dick, and Harry's doing it now. Everybody must do it in WWE. Everybody, because Vince has a hard-on for that.
Every company's doing that though. That's a wrist lock. You know, that's
because remember we live in an ADD society, and everybody wants their satisfaction yesterday. I'm not wrong on that.
Well, what it is too, it's not just that. It's just kids who go to wrestling schools, they see that on TV and they want.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I want to do that move too. You know, it's like.
Speaking of wrestling schools, I gave you a flyer for a certain event coming up July 27th.
Oh, for MCW.
MCW.
Yes.
I'll say this on the air. Are you interested in going?
I'll talk to you about it. I am interested. I'll see what's going on that weekend.
Because I am also interested. We both know Danny McDevitt real well. We both know Dennis Whipwreck real well. And I'll talk to you off the air what Dennis posted on Facebook. Which is, if it's going to go through, it's going to be something fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. But MCW, it's going to be my first wrestling show I've been to since CZW the night my car went up. That was, what, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
No, it's not, Chris. You said this one other time.
Oh, yeah, the indie, the
fucking
Ring of Honor show.
burnout. Jesus.
No, I'm talking about an indie show.
Ring of
Ring of
Honor.
Honor is a national syndicated show now.
They're indies. If you're not WWE or AEW, you're an indie. I'm
Or
sorry.
Impact, or New Japan.
Well, I say Impact is.
This is the question I want to pose to you. Since they brought back Joe,
Yeah.
and Hunter was really pissed about them letting go.
What do you mean? You fired Samoa Joe?
He's the one who got Joe to sign. There's rumors going around that they're pressuring trying to get Black to come back. Do you think Black should come back?
Where's he gonna go?
Only another place. We only have one place other than working for Vince.
Yeah.
Again.
I don't. You mean the All Elite Refugee Camp?
Yeah, pretty much. Now, where would you like to see Tommy end?
We talked about this 2 weeks ago, Chris. I mean,
again, New Japan would be the perfect fit for him.
I say Japan, maybe Impact, probably Japan though. Or I could even see him in Mexico. I think he.
How would you like to see him against Andrade? Did we see that already?
Yeah, we probably have. He's probably done that in NXT a bunch.
Yeah, we did because he won the title from NXT from Andrade.
Yeah.
Like when him and Selena were dating. And this is another thing. Apart from that, her being spotted with Simone Johnson in the Performance Center, I haven't heard a peep about Selena Vega being around the WWE at all.
Well, I've seen her as her original name, Thea Trinidad.
On Twitter, yeah.
I heard she might be wrestling again, and I heard that another Latina manager / wrestler that I'm very fond of.
She showed up at the Performance Center already.
Yeah, although she's still trying to sell stuff off her website. She actually did a video the other day. You can buy onesie La Parka pajamas with the mask and everything, and she was even trying them on and stuff.
Now, this is something I want to mention to you before we leave. This is brought up to my attention yesterday or over the weekend. They had Karrion Kross work the main event, the streaming service against Shelton Benjamin. They're trying him out for a call already.
Right.
But the thing is, who was it with Karrion Kross? Scarlett.
Right.
Because Vince doesn't like managers. They had Bronson Reed. I forgot who he took on, also on main event, as also a kind of call up. They're both champions there in NXT. Vince was his hands on them. Scarlett's going to get a tryout on main event this weekend, or one of the streaming shows this weekend. She's a good wrestler. I've actually seen her work in other companies. Matter of fact, she's a former Rage TV champion in MCW. She beat somebody we know, Ryan McBride. You know how she beat him? Canadian Destroyer.
Okay.
She can do a Canadian Destroyer.
So can David Arquette. What's your point?
Yeah. Do you think calling him up is too soon? Let them cook a little bit more down there.
I would say let them cook. Let them stay burnt on the grill. leave droppings into the coals underneath the grill.
Thank you, buddy.
Keep them at the the performance. Keep them in NXT, please.
Back when NXT was a fledgling league and when they got called up, we all got excited about them being called up. Now we just wanted to stay there.
Right, exactly.
Because they called up Mercedes. They put her in Retribution. That didn't last long.
And they didn't even call her Mercedes. They called her...
I forgot what the fucking...
Fish face or something. I don't know.
She had a mask on. I don't know. They called fucking Mia Yim Reckoning. We haven't seen Mia Yim's... Well, we haven't seen her since Keith Lee took a powder.
Oh, God.
And Keith Lee is a call-up. Where has he been? Rhea Ripley. We've seen what they're doing to Rhea Ripley.
Is he still in his non-compete because...
I don't know.
That's somebody that the real cons should be going after.
With Keith Lee?
Hell yeah.
I hear he has health issues. That's all I'm hearing. A lot of wrestlers are talking amongst themselves, or what I'm hearing in the WWE, I'm getting this from Uncle Dave. They want to get that no complete clause done and gone.
Good luck with that.
You know why? And I think I told you this before. You know why they have that no compete clause? When Jarrett lost the IC belt to China and that with the whole home economics match, where did he show up the next night?
He showed
He showed up
up
on Nitro.
Right.
Lex Luger, same way. He showed up on Nitro the night after a WWE pay-per-view.
Rick Rude. You remember he was on a taped episode of Raw the same night as a live episode?
And what did Sean say when they had Harvey Whippleman in the you're easily replaced?
Wow.
Yeah. But that's why the 90 days there, because they don't want them to pop up on the competition, which is now AEW.
But they didn't have competition for a long time, though, and they still had that.
Well, going to Japan, Impact, which is below Rick Vince's radar, but it's on the radar. And Ring of Honor, which is also below the radar, which is on the radar.
Right.
Which I'm hearing, I think another WWE guy is going to Ring of Honor. I forgot who, but I'm hearing rumors that we might be seeing a WWE guy there soon. Who would you like to see who got released? Who would you like to see in Ring of Honor?
I told you last time.
It would be Murphy?
Well, Murphy would be good, and he'd be a good Japanese spot. I want to see Braun pop up somewhere.
I don't think Ring of Honor has the money for him. Even though it's Sinclair Broadcasting.
From he said, in fact, it's funny you mentioned that. Cornette did a little joke, and you know how, like, on his videos they draw, like, the little captain for it? He had the thing where he had, like, you remember when Virgil had, like, the booth at certain events, and he was, like, sitting by himself because he was charging too much money? He had the same exact sign like that with Braun Strowman at a table.
What I'm hearing, Strowman's charging 5 figures just for events. To show up. And you don't think Danny's going to pony that up? Just to get the autograph sales? You know he is.
You think he would?
I've seen him do it before.
But for that much?
We'll see, won't we?
Oh.
He had Bret Hart there. And Jimmy Hart. I don't know how much he paid out for that.
Yeah. I don't think.
And DDP at the same show.
Well, part of the deal with that is they're expecting the money not up front from the promoters. They're expecting
from the autograph sales and all that. Yeah,
expecting, like when we went, you go in the ring in intermission and get your picture taken with the Polaroids and stuff. Yeah. But
I got to meet Brett. Very soft-spoken man.
Yeah.
Very soft-spoken. And again, this could have been the stroke.
Oh, he always was like that, though.
Yeah, I have not watched the Broken Skull sessions with Bret Hart because I would love to see an interview with Bret Hart and Steve Austin.
Yeah. I think I heard another episode of Steve Austin's podcast with Bret Hart. Austin, he basically, he said he owed his career in WWE. He thought Bret Hart helped put the rocket on him, though,
Speaking of podcasts, who would you want to see on Talk with Jared go from the releases? Who would you like to hear from first?
Well, let's see. Black.
Well, Black's been on Selena's, Thea's Twitch channel just answering questions from the fans.
Right. Let's see. Who else?
Ruby,
yeah, definitely. The Iconics.
Well, they got their own little podcast thing, and they're doing their own little spin on it.
Okay, well, you're asking me who I would want Jericho to talk to, because it's a whole different thing.
Braun?
I'd like to hear his side of the story. I don't think Braun would be the best interview, but I could be wrong.
Murphy
would be interesting, especially how they just kind of swept under the rug that whole thing with Rey Mysterio's daughter and all that.
Yeah. Just speaking of podcasts, that Chris Van Vliet guy, right?
Yeah.
He just did one that dropped 5 days ago with Mickie James, and they do talk about the trash bag incident.
He's had her on his show before. Yes, that would be interesting.
And she talks about. I watched the first 10 minutes of it. They talk about her running the all women's NWA pay-per-view, and she said, even Chris was like, "Are you going to book yourself on the show?" She says, "I'm not a mark. Why am I going to put myself in the main event? Who's ever done that?"
Yeah.
Looking at you, Hunter. Looking at you, Vince.
Looking at her husband, Nick.
Yeah.
Although I like Nick Aldis, so
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Nick's ring work. I never was. I never did like him in his Magnus.
His ring works. I mean,
It's there.
It's technical. I mean, it's nothing special per se, but he's more. It's more his gimmick. It's his flair, like Bockwinkel, like gimmick,
He's very, 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 very old school.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, it's because he trained with Harley Race. I think that's a lot. Has a lot to do with it.
And probably got trained by Billy Robinson since he's British.
I forget. I did see like when NWA was doing that Carneyland stuff. Him and Tom Latimer, and I think him and Marty, they all went to school together in England, and
Do you think Impact dropped the ball on Latimer when he was there as Bram?
I don't know. Latimer, I mean, he's definitely a good athlete. His promo, he's just basically, I'm big, strong, and I'll kill you.
British.
With a British accent, yeah.
Him and Camille are really a couple, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those who don't know, he is the ex-husband of Charlotte Flair. So apparently, if Charlotte has a type, she likes him foreign.
You mean Latimer has a type?
No, Charlotte. Who's her new fiance?
Oh,
Andrade.
All right.
How long before Charlotte thinks of jumping ship, wanting her release, so she can be with her fiance? Because she's been posting a lot of sexy photos on Twitter.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. She might. I don't know. Hopefully, there won't be 8 weeks of tables in her future like somebody else.
Lana, I think, was supposed to be this last Monday or this coming Monday. She's supposed to do a YouTube show where she's going to be spilling a lot of tea.
I heard about that. What the hell's that about?
She's going to be letting the cat out of the bag about her being booked in all the tables.
Oh,
yeah. She's going to rip Vince a new one. You know she is.
Okay.
And I think Vince deserves to have a new one being ripped again.
Yeah.
Since the old one's been closed up by everybody else who's been left.
Oh, man.
Especially, from what I heard, Chelsea got a trash bag. I know Lana got a trash bag. Gail Kim got a trash bag. Who hasn't gotten a trash bag who's female there?
Well, I can think of a few females that should have gotten a trash
Kong.
bag, but for me, anyway, I don't know.
Kong. Because I know she had to leave when she was pregnant. And we never saw her again until we saw her in AEW.
I wonder if Lacey Evans got a trash bag yet.
Pregnancy kit.
Yeah.
When that kid pops out, do you see her coming back or is she done?
Hard to say. Probably, I don't know. If
She's already got one kid.
If she can get back to the form, she had the Sable look that Vince likes. I can see her coming back.
And especially the old Southern Belle, which kind of is Sable.
Yeah.
Because Sable's Southern.
Right.
Do you see Becky coming back at Money in the Bank, or they're saving her for SummerSlam?
Probably save her for SummerSlam or afterwards.
Or they'll take on... She's going to be on SmackDown because it's Seth's being on SmackDown because Vince is not breaking up couples.
Yeah.
You see her against Bianca or Bayley?
Hey, she could be on a few SmackDowns before SummerSlam just to build that up. But yeah.
Could you mention the pop when she comes out?
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, when Ronda was there, they were booking that division around Ronda. Then they were booking it around Becky. Right now, there's no direction in that division right now whatsoever in either show. Because it's almost like an afterthought.
Yep.
So what else you want to talk about, or is that it, my friend?
I think we covered a lot.
We're going to MLW. I'll be experiencing my first MLW show.
Yes.
You and
I both.
Did they say what the matches are on that show yet?
Yeah, no, they haven't. The only match that they said they have something called a Battle Riot, which is their version of the Royal Rumble. And a lot of the people they have, like, Richards is going to be there.
Which I do want to meet. I love David Richards.
Yeah. And, like, Tommy Filthy Lawler is going to be in it. Cesar Duran, the guy who supposedly killed my future ex-wife, Selena De La Renta.
Yeah.
But, no. Just kidding. But he's supposed to be in there, and he's supposed to. And apparently, at least in kayfabe, I don't know if this is true or not. Supposedly, he actually bought IWA Puerto Rico from Savio Vega. So,
well, wasn't that the hardcore promotion at one time?
Yes, and in fact, he's having El Muertes go up against the Caribbean champion from that company, who is Richard Holiday, who is part of the Dynasty, which was a group that had him, Hammerstone, and at one time MJF. So.
Ooh. It makes me think, is WWC still a thing in Puerto Rico? Or is Carlos still alive?
I don't know if Carlos is still alive. I don't know if I thought, his son was the guy with the apple, I forget.
Oh, Carlito.
Carlito. I thought he was running a promotion down there, but...
I think that's why they brought him up, just to give him a little bit of rub.
Yeah.
Before we leave, Dark Side of the Ring, I watched the Dynamite Kid one. It was so sad.
Yeah.
He was not... Did you see the comeback? Did you watch that Dark Side, right?
I didn't see that one. The last one, I saw the one before that was...
It's on this.
Okay, cool.
But
what about Grizzly Smith? Did you see that one?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. He likes very, very young girls, including his daughter.
All I gotta say is good for Rockin' Robin. Did you hear when she said that he brought like some...
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah, I saw
She's
that.
not going back with you or something like that. You know, that
I was like, he brought this 9-year-old girl, and I was like, you're a kid toucher. Your new nickname is, your Irish name is Pedophile. Jesus Christ, don't touch kids. And it takes me back when you saw Beyond the Mat, right?
Yeah.
When Jake went to visit his father, they didn't say a word to each other. They're doing yard work. They didn't even look at each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize he's Junior.
Yeah.
Aurelian Smith Jr. And I didn't know about Sam Houston being in jail for this long.
Oh, yeah, because he kept getting drunk and getting DUI'd. And at first, Grizzly kept getting him out, but then...
He's like Papa Titus. And they talked to Baby Doll.
Yeah.
Which, when they talked about Dynamite, did you see the footage of him making his comeback after the head injury?
Yeah.
He looked like me.
Oh, God.
He dropped a lot of muscle tone. He did not look good at all.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No, I'm 5'10", 5'11". I'm about 155 pounds. I'm not an athletic guy.
No.
And he looked like he dropped a lot of weight. He looked deathly thin. I mean, it's like I say, you're watching Dark Side, it's on there, and it's sad. And they talk to his daughters, and the one daughter never got to meet her father because he died before she was born.
Jeez Louise.
He died in a, he like I said, you get to watch it. I mean, it's
right,
you get to bring your own thing.
Okay.
And they're done for her until what, September?
Right.
And they're doing the second half. Like I said, me and you, XPW. If they cover the Messiah thing, if they talk to William Welch, I'm all in.
Well, I mean, if America's Most Wanted even covered it.
Rob Black now has a Twitter account. I found it.
Oh, wow.
And he is promoting all kinds of charitable events. He even talked about the Dark Side coming up and says, don't watch it. He's trying to get people not to watch that show.
I'm surprised he's not in jail for that stuff with the Messiah.
Or anything else, because he's probably shady as fuck.
Probably a lot of drug-related stuff, I would imagine, with the, you know.
The other one I'm looking forward to is the other two, Plane Ride from Hell. They're going to talk about the Plane Ride from Hell.
Right.
FMW. When they talked about the New Japan, they talked to Inoki. Do you think they'll talk to Onita?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Onita, they're going to talk about Hayabusa and what happened, and the late Hayabusa. They'll probably talk to Masato Tanaka. Who was the other mainstays in that company? The Japanese ones.
Goto.
Tarzan Goto, if he's still alive.
And
They're probably going to talk to some of the old ECW names that they can talk to, like Sandman.
What about I don't even know if he's still alive or not. You remember that Mr. Danger, Hiro Matsunaga?
Oh, he was Big Japan. Yeah, he was Big Japan. I don't know if he's still alive.
But I don't know if he was FMW. I think he was more wing.
He was more wing in Big Japan.
Yeah. Shame you can't talk to Hayabusa.
They might talk to Sabu. Because him and his uncle worked a lot of matches there.
Yeah.
And they'll talk about the fire matches, which were supposed to be a one-time thing.
Yeah.
But it turned into an every match thing every tour.
I'm surprised it was more than one time thing after that one match where they couldn't even do anything because there's so much fire in the...
The ring burnt down.
Right.
We saw it. We had the video. We saw the ring burnt down. But FMW is going to be a definite interest for me. I want to see... It's interesting who they're going to talk to. They're going to talk to a lot of old ECW names that are not working for Vince.
Yeah.
About that because a lot of them worked there. They'll probably talk to Fonzie because I think Fonzie worked over there. I think Francine was over there for a couple of shows.
I know Fonzie did a lot of other Japanese stuff. I remember seeing him. I think it was a match where somehow Flair wound up getting the belt back. It might have been against Kerry Von Erich, but I think he was a referee there.
Mm-hmm. They might talk to Dreamer because I know Tommy worked alongside Paul with those shows over there.
Yeah. Funk?
No, they'll talk. Oh, let me tell you there's something, Sonny.
Yeah. That's if they pay me enough money to talk my eyelids. But no, go ahead.
Well, when they talk about the whole... When I watched the Icons of RVD, when they talked to Dory Funk, and they talked to Tommy Dreamer, I was like, they're talking to a guy from another company. Which I think Vince is now blurring those lines with the with the streaming shows now, with the interview shows and the icons. Because when they had that dinner for three thing, and they had Sting, Angle, and AJ, and they talk about the TNA days.
Right, yeah.
And they even showed the still footage of the empty arena match that I think Angle and AJ had. I think there's going to be some kind of handshake agreement where we can advertise your streaming service, yada yada yada, and can we use some of your stills?
All right.
I think that was Hunter. I don't think that was Vince. But like I said, the Broken Skull sessions I want to watch with Mick Foley because that's a wealth of information.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot. We're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Like usual.
Yeah. Speaking of marks, Give your socials that nobody gives a shit about.
Christopher James Filato on Facebook and at CFilato on Twitter.
And of course you can catch the show on our RTC Multimedia YouTube channel. Thank you for watching and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya!